So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, JSnip4, Realist News, YouTube. So second and third video of the day. Max Slavo from shtfplan.com. It's a very interesting article, but there's another one from the UK Daily Mail about Brazil becoming essentially maybe even worse than Venezuela all of a sudden, just out of nowhere. So again, I see these things happening. First it's Venezuela, now we have Brazil. There's other countries starting to follow that path as well. And again, I can't even kind of see markets just keep rallying. America's great. The rest of the world is going to go to hell, but America and our stock markets and our exchanges are just going to do phenomenal. I just can't see that. So this video, I'm focusing on the first article from Mr. Max Slavo. Is Trump about to cause another crisis? Unknowingly. 2008 could be eclipsed as bank restrictions eliminated. So what you're going to hear from this article, Dodd-Frank Act, what's left of it, I should say, because it has mostly been gutted anyways, but what's left of that rotting carcass of a bill, legislation, is a little bit of regulation. And the argument is that we over-regulated. Like, we went too crazy. So Donald Trump is going to undo some of that. Is that going to be the catalyst that brings us back to 2008 2.0? I don't think so, one way or the other. They may want to use that if it happens and they say, oh, well, it's because Trump deregulated again. No, you know. They can say anything they want and blame it on him. Again, most of the regulations that were in Dodd-Frank were already gutted. One of the most important ones, in my opinion, was position limits on precious metals. That was put in there. And last minute, federal judge appointed judge. We don't need to implement that part. I'm going to put a hold on that because Congress failed to say why that would, help this crisis not happening or something. I forgot what his actual wording was, but they failed to say how it would help. And I thought to myself, what the hell does that mean? Last time I checked, they can pass any law, regardless of what it does or does not do. It might not do a damn thing. The Breathing Act. We already breathe. Yeah, we're just going to put it on paper though, so it's official. Okay, it's not doing anything. Doesn't matter. They passed it as a law in this example. It's a law. You can't have a judge. Well, they can't really. They put position limits on that for the same reasons we all know why. They must maintain control. And the unbelievable massive amounts of positions one entity has is enough to control the entire market. So they couldn't dare only allow small positions for each player. That's why that got taken out. So other regulations got gutted as well. The important ones got gutted. Anyways, beware of what may be coming next. We already know the establishment has a plan to blame Trump for the next financial crisis, and now there are moves being made that will support that narrative. After the 2008 fiasco, a spotlight on Wall Street misbehavior and some weak but better than nothing regulations were put on the industry in the hopes of preventing another string of bank failures and crippling economic disasters. But as the system teeters on edge and prepares to endure the backlash of increased rates at the Fed, Trump is also taking off the shackles that have been put in place by the Dodd-Frank Act, which instituted certain protections for consumers, including a requirement that pensioners, essentially don't have their nest egg devoured, etc. For the tens of millions of baby boomer retirees and aging pensioners, the Social Security net is all they've got to count on, apart from a few debt-saddled kids who have hardly been able to save a dime under 8 years of Obama. The 2008 economic crisis penalized everyone with an entire cycle of wage freezes, job starvation, and crushing dependence upon government programs for assistance. And can I just add something? We had neighbors. We moved in here. And when I say neighbors, the guy next door, and the house next door to them. And there were some young kids. I was pretty sure they were like Section 8 housing, if you know what I mean. They didn't last long. They're gone. Right as that was happening, another neighbor neighbor moved in closer to me. So that was the second house out. This was the one right next to me. By the way, we live in a decent area. This is a very decent area. I've paid more rent here than I've ever paid in my life, mortgage, etc. by far. This is also about twice as big as my old house. So, I'm liking things here. Neighborhood, everything's great. But I'm noticing there's a couple of houses, just so happen to be right next to mine and the one after that I'm pretty sure are Section 8 type houses where the government, helps. So this other family moves in. They have this little 4-year-old, or was she 3 and turned 4? Or 4 then 5?
4 when they left.
She was 4 when they left, so she's 4, but barely 4. And when they first moved in, she comes over, and my youngest at the time was 7. She's again 4 or so. Yeah, she wanted to come in and play upstairs with some of the toys. Okay, fine. So, my youngest up there playing too, and she grabs a few things. This kid, that's mine. I'm taking that home. That's mine too. I'm taking that. That one's mine. Okay, so she starts walking down the stairs and toys in hand, our toys. So, where are you going with that? I'm going home. Okay, you have to leave that here. No, that's mine now. No, it's not yours. It's ours. You have to leave it here. No, I'm taking it home. At that point, I just kind of grabbed the stuff. No, you're not. 4-year-old. Excuse me? That's mine? No, it's not. It's ours. No, it's not. It's mine now. What? Okay. You're not coming in ever again. Have a nice day, young lady. We're outside playing. They're playing Foursquare. She jumps in the middle. Oh, you can't ride that, honey. You got to ask permission. You can't just come over here and go inside our garage and take stuff. You got to ask if you. Okay. Sometimes she would. Other times, walk right in the house. Just walk right in the house. What the? What was her name? Zia? Zaya?
Chalk.
So the other day we're here. What is that outside? Oh, it's Zaya. She's over here with 2 little kids with her. What is she doing? It looks like she's writing chalk on our screen. Sliding glass door. Zaya, no, honey, you can't do that. So she leaves. Nope. Comes right back. Instantly. Starts doing it again. So we open the door. Zaya, you can't do that, honey. Don't write on our screen porch. Write on yours. Write on your side. So then she goes to where our back porch is. Instead of writing on the screen, she starts writing on the ground too. Okay. Go next door. 2 little kids, and I mean, she's 4. These kids were like 2.5. Maybe one was 2.5. The other one might have been 3. Where's the parents? Hello, anyone home? No parent anywhere? 3-year-old, 2 something and a half, whatever, 4-year-old. So Kendall lives across the street. He's been in their house numerous times. Kendall, do you think are you allowed in there? Yeah. Can you go find their parent, whoever their parent is inside, and let them know to come down here? I've got a problem with their daughter. Yeah, okay. So he goes and gets them. He's up there. He's upstairs sleeping. Thinking to myself, how terrified I was when Ashley was 4 years old, 5 years old, of losing sight. You know what I mean? You're not going outside by yourself. Eyes always on her. Not those kids. That kid is outside as if there's no parents alive. So I had to tell him, look, she's writing on her screen porch. She's writing on the back with chalk. I already told her, like, you can't do that. She's telling me, no, I can. So, so get in the house. Don't worry about the chalk. I'll spray the chalk off, wipe it off. Don't worry about that. We see a moving truck there the other day. Oh my goodness. There's a God and He loves me. There is a God and He loves me. They're moving. Kendall, are they moving out? Well, just Zaya and her dad and the mom. Oh, I didn't realize there was like somebody else. I thought it was just them. Yeah, he said, yeah, that's I know. Okay, well, that's okay. You did say Zaya, right? Yeah. Oh, good. Turns out they left, all of them. In the same day they left, the very same day they left, new guys, there's a carpet guy coming in, tearing up all the carpet, throwing it out, And I'm thinking, how long did they live there? They were only there a few months. The carpet's destroyed already? Anyways, some more kids, 3 kids, mom and dad. My radar, my Section 8 radar is on full alert. I think I'm feeling Section 8. So imagine you work hard for your money. So hard for your money. And you just want to live a middle class lifestyle. And we moved on up. J-Snip family, we moved on up. Better house, bigger house, etc. It just happened to be available. Certainly more than I was paying for the old house. Why is Section 8 moving next to me? Can somebody help me here? Oh, that's right. Obama rules and things. They allowed the mixture of Section 8 people to just be kind of anywhere, mixed in with the so-called middle class. So us middle class now suffer because Section 8's moving next to us. This one moves in, that one moves out. Another one moves in, then they move out. Another one comes in, then they come out. Interesting. So you get help paying your mortgage. I don't get help paying mine. I got to pay for mine. And matter of fact, because of my taxes, I got to help pay for yours too. So I'm actually paying for the Section 8 to move next to me to give me a freaking headache. And their kids to give me and my kids a headache. What the hell's going on here? I just wanted to share that with you as I saw that little piece on this article. So, pardon me for laying that on you, but I bet you find that a little interesting, some of you. Because you don't know, it's kind of like the EBT. You don't really know who's got an EBT. Is that a debit card? Is it a credit card? Or is it EBT? I don't know. The cashier knows, but you don't know just by them pulling it out of their pocket. Looks like a credit card or debit card. Only to find out when you talk to the register person, at least 1 out of 3, or some places 1 out of 2 is paying on has an EBT card. You don't realize it that they're everywhere around you because you don't get to really see it. Kind of like this. Oh, just some neighbors moved in. Oh, they got 3 kids. Oh, cool. Oh, but they're Section 8, which means not necessarily culturally different, just maybe socially different. Social class, if you will. I'm a total middle class. I'm not a rich snob, but that's for damn sure. Nor am I just even rich. We're just average as they come. You see my videos all these years. You hear how I talk. You hear what I say. We are just as average as they come. But that doesn't mean if someone from the ghetto, so to speak, moved in right next to you, you're going to get along and be great friend, neighbors, everything's going to be cool. It's 2 completely different lifestyles. And with it comes, hey, your kid did that today. Hey, yeah, you can do that again. Yeah, listen, you were up real late last night with the radio blasted. You think, oh, but wait a minute, we live in an HOA. You don't have that problem. Just call the HOA. Listen, neighbor, yada, yada, yada. Thank goodness I haven't had to complain on anybody. But why are we having this mixed in with us? What the hell did I do as a middle-class person paying his taxes, pitching in, doing the right thing? What the hell did I do to deserve that? That's why I want a piece of property with a few acres on it. Because you're not going to find the section, oh, that house next to you is approved for Section 8. No. In the developments, yes. Out in the country kind of a thing, no. Not happening. That's why I want my 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 acres to do whatever the hell I want. Don't need an HOA. Ain't got to worry about that crap. And I don't have to worry about, he left his dog outside. It's yapping all day. I'm trying to take a nap. Car stereo's blasting. Don't worry about that. Back on topic. For the tens of millions of baby boomer retirees and aging pensioners, the Social Security net is all they've got to count on, apart from a few debt-saddled kids who have hardly been able to save a dime under 8 years of Obama. The 2008 economic crisis penalized everyone with an entire cycle of wage freezes, job starvation, and crushing dependence upon government programs for assistance. Wall Street and the banker class at large were spared from blame or reparations to a society that was robbed blind. Instead, 8 years of quantitative easing sent a tidal wave of easy money to the financial sector that created a gorge of asset buy-up from the top, especially in housing, where soaring rates are forcing single households to become renters instead of mortgage debt slave owners once again. The election of President Trump created optimism about our collective financial prospects, with seemingly tangible promises of bringing home jobs and returning to American greatness. But the banksters also cheered his election. Stock market shot upward in celebration. Key positions in the White House were offered to Goldman Sachs men and others of their ilk. Now President Trump has issued an executive order that has Wall Street once again self-congratulating for backing the right man. The order is expected to gut protections, his executive order, that currently require financial products sellers, as the London Independent reports. Donald Trump is expected to order a review of the Dodd-Frank Act, which was implemented in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis to prevent a repeat of the worst financial crash since the Great Depression. Council has the right to break up banks that it thinks could pose a systemic risk to the global financial order. It also has the ability to demand that banks hold higher reserves or cash buffers to minimize a squeeze. Separately, the Dodd-Frank Act also created the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to oversee customer financial products such as mortgages. A key part of the act is the Volcker Rule, which restricts the way that banks are allowed to invest and places restrictions on speculative trading. It also restricts banks from engaging in so-called proprietary trading, or trading for the firm's direct gain instead of on behalf of a client. So in effect, the rule is designed to separate the investment and commercial business of banks, which is what Glass-Steagall did before Bill Clinton destroyed it, took it down. It seems clear enough that this move benefits many of those at the top of the pyramid, but a Bloomberg report directly quoting from senior leadership on Wall Street and now inside the Trump administration makes crystal clear that the intentions are quite self-interested. Chief executives, including Goldman Sachs Group Inc.'s Lloyd Blankfein and JP Morgan Chase, again, the two top guys I always talk about, Jamie Dimon, have been pushing for changes for years, arguing that the industry has been too constrained by the system put in place by the 2010 Dodd-Frank Act. After Trump focused on limiting trade and immigration during his first 2 weeks in office, policies opposed by many in the financial industry, the president's stroke of a pen unleashes a process to undo many of the rules they find most irksome. Quote, "We're going to attack all aspects of Dodd-Frank," end quote. Gary Cohn, director of the White House National Economic Council, said Friday in an interview with Bloomberg Television, "We are going to engage the House. We are going to engage the Senate. They are equally interested in reforming some of the regulatory processes as well. We can do quite a bit without them, but the more we get from help from Congress, the better off we're all going to be." Not necessarily the brightest news for people, though it isn't immediately obvious that this change in rules would cause immediately trouble. There is reason for concern. If the limitations, inadequate as they were, are lifted off the banks, specifically with investing in commercial banking and with pensions, things could once again take a turn for the worse. If the same reckless behavior is repeated, it could not only bring the system to a halt and crash the stock market, but it could potentially wipe out the holdings of those who need it most, pensioners. Meanwhile, defaults and the burden of debt supercycle are also threatening to topple the system. One way or another, the next era will have to handle enormous risk of total economic crises. And as the Independent notes, does this mean we're at risk of facing another financial crisis? Some economists have even been bold enough to say that getting rid of Dodd-Frank could indeed pave the way for another crisis. What makes matters a lot worse is that many experts believe the global financial systems and economies are more vulnerable now than they were ahead of the last financial crisis. So if we do suffer another major crash, the damage has the potential to get a lot more grave. Central banks around the world have already slashed interest rates to record lows, leaving them with limited ammunition to do more to stimulate economic growth. Government debt has also skyrocketed over the decades since the last crisis. So the last 10 years, of course. We had 10 trillion in debt when Obama started. It's now 20 trillion as he left. Again, this is how could anyone take this and spin this and say, well, the market should rally because, regulations are being taken off, and maybe it will. But isn't that the problem each and every time? The markets are rallying on absolute nonsense garbage, no news, fake rally, and then a big crash. Pull all the suckers in. Pull every last freaking sucker back into this American market before we pull the rug out. That is the name of the game, I believe. Take care.